Welcome back, everyone. Friar Tuck here. So let's get into today's video. It's 5 ways in which you can impact homelessness or impact a homeless person's life. One thing I keep trying to really drive home is that you cannot fix homelessness on a grand scale. Okay, it's not possible. It's an individual thing, because a lot of things in life, yeah, we've got all these people around here, right? We've got all this stuff going on around us. But at the end of the day, it's still a solo mission. So, when it comes to fixing anything, it's one at a time. You can't do for the whole group, because the whole group has so many, a variety of needs, that if you don't get it right, for the whole group, then all you're doing is leaving people behind and then making them feel even more disenfranchised. This is why it's important to think about it on an individualistic level, in the same way that you guys, impact me, because you guys are working with me and got to know me on a personal level. If you want to help the homeless within your community, the same thing goes along with that. So, the first thing that you can do, probably the most important thing that you can do, is being their friend. I mean, I've had this happen in many cities, and this is probably the most impactful thing for me, the thing that has kept me on the straight and narrow and all that good stuff. Let's see, so in Portland, I had a guy that used to come by and see me every night after work. He would sit back and he would chat with me, and we'd have really deep conversations because we connected on an intellectual level, and he would just check in to see how I was doing, and just to have somebody say, wow, I care about whether you exist or not is important. And then also in Cincinnati, the guy I made friends with there, he would come, and him and I would chat, and he got to see that I really didn't need anything other than maybe just a friend. Every once in a while he'd drop me a nug or two, or whatever. He still checks in on me. How you doing? Haven't been able to watch your videos, but just checking in on you, and things like that. Sometimes that matters more than anything you could do. You could house me up, you give me all the money in the world, you could make me the president of the world, okay? And it still wouldn't be as impactful as a friendship. Okay, number 2 is community involvement. And there's my friend in Cincinnati kind of showed me a little bit how this works, and I'll do my best to kind of explain it to you guys. But essentially, there's a lot of different ways you can do community involvement, whether it be working with your local police department to kind of relieve them and having to deal with the homeless, see how you can help. But you got to realize that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So be careful about the impact in which the things that you do. Also, my buddy was telling me in Cincinnati that in his community, on their Facebook page, everybody knows that they've got a local bum that lives there, and they know where he lives, and so on and so forth. And when they ain't seen him for a few days, they start asking within the community, hey, have you seen this guy? I haven't seen him in a few days. Is he okay? Do you guys know what happened to him? That is impactful in the way that still it's like, instead of just one person taking care of a person, it is a community that is ensuring that the guy that's down on his luck or whatever is taken care of. And this also gives you the opportunity to decide who comes into your community and who doesn't, because as homelessness becomes more and more rampant and starts overwhelming and overrunning areas, you're not going to be able to escape it. And what that means is that you're gonna have to choose. Do you want the white doper? Do you want the stoner? Do you want the drunk? Who do you want in your backyard? If you have to choose between those 3, okay? Because that's essentially what's gonna end up happening. And so the community involvement part, that's an area where you can be open and you can be creative. But this is something that, if done correctly and done with true compassion, can actually make a huge impact, not only on your housed community, because now they've got somebody that they can focus on and make sure that he's okay. That way they don't have to feel guilty about not helping all the other bums around town, because, you know, they've got their bum that they're helping out. Okay, so number 3 is offering missing resources that they may have. In some cities, they don't feed very often, and some cities they feed, like, you know, you can get 4 or 5 meals a day if you know how to frequent the different feed lines. Okay, so there might be missing resources. So for example, I need a hammock. Well, you might have a hammock that either you're wanting to get rid of or something along those lines, and you're like, hey, you know what? Maybe this guy needs it. Maybe this guy will use it, because you've made friends with him. You understand what he's missing, what he's lacking. And plus, you know, you guys follow me, so you kind of know what kind of gear we need out here to begin with, you know, and so therefore you can offer things like that. You can also, you know, talk to people within your community of friends, your local community, whatever it is. And since you already know that the person needs this stuff, and it's just a matter of, you know, being able to find somebody who has something that they want to hand down for whatever reason, as long as it's in decent shape, because you got to realize gear doesn't last very long out here because of the wear and tear of just everyday life. It's just the way it is. Okay, an obvious one in which you can actually impact the homeless community, especially if you don't really want to make friends or anything else like that, but you want to do something. You can always volunteer. And, you know, I make friends with the volunteers, because those are the people that are going to help me get to where I need to go. For example, in Cincinnati, there's this Italian lady. She used to do the bags, and then she was the one who did my feet. And whenever I needed something, you know, if she had access to it, she just, here you go, because she knew me, she liked me, and she knew that it would impact me because I developed a relationship. Now, as a volunteer, you're going to develop a relationship with lots of different people within the homeless community, and you need to decide, you know, whether or not you can help them and whether or not you can't. And only a fool gives away his last dollar. So don't put yourself in a predicament. But if you have something that is helpful, that you're not going to need, or you know somebody is not going to need, well then, you know, you do what you think is best. Okay, but volunteering is another way to impact homelessness. All right, before I go into Dollar General, we're going to go over number 5. Number 5 is reminding them of their humanity. This was something that I tend to make an impact with whenever I'm in the homeless community, because I remind them of who they were, of what they used to do, and you know, sometimes it could be something as simple as, you know, you've made friends with them, you know, you may have helped them with certain things, and that goes a long way. You know, maybe even take them out for a beer, or invite them over for, like, hey, we're having Thanksgiving, you want to come and, you know, you want to come and hang out at our family. With our family for Thanksgiving, you know, because you know them well enough that you could trust them in your house. Okay, now you may need to double check, because one of the big things that are out here is you will have sexual predators. It's just they're in the homeless community, and I don't know how big it is, but I know that in Gainesville that there were probably about 5 or 6 of them, you know, out of like 500 homeless or so. So I mean, you're looking at anywhere from 1 to 10% of the community to have some sort of predatorial behavior, whether it be aggression or whether it be you know, other things. So this is one thing I always say you want to be careful on, but get to know them. You know, get to know them, get to understand them, and before you invite them to your house, or before you say, hey, you know, I want to go out golfing. You ever been golfing? You know, something like that. Something real simple, just to remind them of what it was like, what they lost, what they went through. Now, some people, it might send them into depression because they know that they'll never have it, but other people will appreciate it because, you know, for example, although I dogged the guy in Chattanooga, one thing that he did that made a huge impact that reminded me of my humanity was him and I went, he went and got us to be able to test drive a couple of electric bikes. And then we rode up and down and stuff like that. And it was fun. It was like, for a moment, I forgot that I was sleeping in a shelter. I forgot all of that stuff. And I felt like a normal housed individual for the first time in many, many, many months. And, you know, that makes a huge impact because honestly, being homeless, you are fighting a psychological battle. It's more psychological than physical, because the psychological toll that it takes will lead you down paths that you may never ever be able to recover from. So these are my five suggestions, 5 tips on how you can impact homelessness. If you have any others, or if you think that I did not elaborate on any of it, please let me know down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.